Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Eye on Icon, the weekly news edition. And with me, David, how are you, man?
Hey Fez, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm good. I was flat all day. In fact, even just before this call, this session, I was flat. But the second the record button was hit, my God, I'm lit up. It's good to be back. I don't know. Honestly, behind the scenes, for some reason, I get quite anxious. I'm like, lazy. And I'm like, should we do the weekly news? And this is a pre-conversation I have with David every time. But oh my God, when we hit that record button, I'm like, I'm so happy we're doing this. Okay. David, did you know? Fun fact. Iron Icon is sponsored by the Monks. Did you know that?
I have heard the rumors in the streets, but
Do you know
not
who
the
the Monks are?
specifics. Oh my goodness, tell me.
Well, they are some of the best iconists who've trained in a mountain somewhere, and they are like DeFi gurus and NFT gurus and kind of just super knowledgeable. I'm a monk, so I'm kind of talking myself up, but no, I didn't mean it that way. But yes, so they look. If you didn't know the origin story of the monks, they were banded together through the protocol known as Omm Finance, and they came together, and essentially it was a group of iconists that pulled together, and now they help the Omm protocol, and then have gotten some grants from the Omm DAO to help market and promote and make educational content for Omm. And as part of that, they have used some of that funding to sponsor this show so that we can get their message of the hard work they're doing and keep promoting the protocol known as Omm. But overall, good bunch of people, and I can tell you that because every week everyone gets together and they've got a shit ton of plans. Yes, they do. They've got comps coming. They're ongoing NFT comps that keep running, but they've got massive events planned in the month of October. I don't know if they've mentioned this to anyone. Sorry if I'm dishing the alpha too early, but they're doing great stuff. Like, honestly.
Question.
Sorry?
How do I become a monk? Is it true that you have to spend 90 days in a DeFi monastery in Nepal?
You do.
Is this what you did?
I did. Why do you think I went MIA? Yeah, all those missed episodes. What do you think happened? Yes. So after that, you come out and you don't know any martial arts, none whatsoever. But DeFi genius. Look. Overall, thank you to the monks. They're doing some great work. I know they do regular sessions as well. And Steve, the genius, and Arush, who is he does so much for Icon. One of the most underrated iconists out there. Is underrated the right word? I don't mean underrated. I mean not recognized. Yeah. No. Yeah. One of those. Yeah. The guy is doing everything, and
the unsung hero. The unsung hero of the week.
Week. Yes, let's move on. Weekly news. I keep telling everyone I start this episode, David, what did I say today? 30 minutes, David. We're keeping it 30 minutes. I want to do this. Let's do it.
Okay.
What's first off the ranks? We finally had the roadmap update. It just got published. We're literally bringing it to you almost semi-live.
Semi-live, the August Icon development update. So what's been happening, and these updates, they get kind of divided into three sections. There's the BTP architecture section that talks about how they're developing the BTP architecture. Then there's an integration section, which talks about which other blockchains are being integrated. And at the bottom, there's always the Icon 2.0, our actual blockchain, like what's happening there. And the update gets quite long because there is a lot of stuff happening, reported in bullet points like this is what we're doing. If we go top to bottom, the first part is the architecture. Yeah, I think the most interesting thing here this month is the progress that they've been making on the relays. So as BTP enables cross-chain communication, there's relays floating in space, basically listening for BTP messages. And for third parties to run these relays, they need to be incentivized to do so. Like, otherwise there wouldn't be any relays if there's no incentive. And they've made good progress on organizing that incentivization mechanism. So that's good. Go and read the actual update to see what it is exactly that they're doing.
So, and on that, like if you listen to the episode that just dropped, the state of CPS with TJ, TJ actually goes on to talk about he's got his hands in a few things in the foundation, and he actually mentions BTP and relay compensation aspects and stuff like that. So it's not just a random update. You can see these are some of the things that are happening, and few people are involved, and these updates kind of reaffirm that that's the stage it's at. So
I heard TJ went to like a tokenomics monastery even further up. He went into India, into the depths of the monastery of monasteries to do tokenomics.
I don't know how he did it. So what you're saying, the monks are the rejects off the peak? No. They're still quite smart. To even get to the middle is like...
Yeah. There's a lot of monasteries, but TJ went to the tokenomics one, so he that's why the interview is so interesting. The one where you and him talk about the state of CPS dropped last week. It's on YouTube and Spotify. So talking about BTP. The interesting one, I think, I scroll down to the interoperability integrations because I'm always interested to see what's been happening.
So, David, then I want you to talk about that. But before we jump across with the architecture, there's one point I wanted to call out. So we see a lot of this work being done, and I know people get excited, like, for example, completed Xcall implementation and Solidity. Now, if you remember, the Xcall is kind of that breakout feature that enables messaging between chains. So think bigger than token transfers, where the dApps can integrate this feature, and in the background, the information's getting transferred, and different things are happening by these dApps. Terrible explanation. I do a better job in the Korea Blockchain Week where I talk about the Xcall feature. But one thing to make note is the architecture team is designing the architecture. So they design it, they test it, their proof of concept works. When it's done, and finally when the build is done, then the integration team will take this. So even though we're seeing a lot of this get completed, and super excited, these are awesome signs, always have a bit more context to go, after this, the build still needs to happen between the actual chains, right? Like that piece isn't happening here. This is your R&D, your research and dev. So enough about that integration.
Well, that is all true. And I was just gonna add that the Xcall service that you just called out, essentially they've now designed it that will charge a fixed fee, and that gets rewarded to the relays. So there's a bit more to it, but now we've spilled it because it is the news after all. Integrations. We know that we've integrated Icon Bridge with BNB Smart Chain, the Binance Smart Chain. With regards to BTP, we can read that the code audits have started for the BTP integration of Binance Smart Chain. Further down the line is the Near protocol, but what's interesting is the prioritization of Snow network. We know that Snow just won a Kusama Parachain slot, meaning that the network will onboard within a couple of weeks, and it will take another couple of weeks for it to configure and all that. But because of these developments, the integrations with Snow have been, I think, pushed forward. So they're now mentioned here. So after the Binance Smart Chain test coverage and documentation has been stabilized, Snow will kick off, get that working. So that's the integrations highlights. And then lastly, the Icon blockchain ourselves, I thought this was dead interesting. The addition of light nodes. So if you don't know the difference between what a full node is and a light node, you can run a full node yourself at home. You can run the Icon blockchain at home. And a full node kind of stores a copy of the entire blockchain on a hard drive and then fully enforces all the rules of the blockchain. While a light node is a much more lightweight version of a node that you could also run at home. It doesn't store the entire blockchain. Instead, it just references the data from a trusted full node in the area, so to speak. So if there's a full node running that everyone knows that's a trusted one, has a good reputation for staying online and reporting the right data, then light nodes can kind of reference that one and instead help secure the network and whatnot, transact with the blockchain. So the additions of light nodes will actually, for Icon, will grow the amount of nodes that are running Icon worldwide faster. So that's one of the updates on the Icon 2.0 end that I thought was interesting to call out. And that's the Icon Dev update. So it's up on the website. Really, you can read the thing. Probably 5 to 10 minute read.
Yeah. In the integration side, one call out I wanted to make. Near, it seems like I like to see this. Where is it? Near integration. Yeah, connect near. Integration to Nexus on testnet, so excited about that. I'm really hoping when that happens and after the team's done their testing or whatnot, we see a scenario again where it's open to everyone and we can actually move assets between Near, Binance Smart Chain and Icon. That'll be cool to see. So it looks like the Near integration is getting close. Finally, I have teed up, if you didn't know already, Cyrus, he is the project manager for the integration side and the technical lead who heads up all the integration space. I've got him lined up for tomorrow, so that episode should drop next week, and going to get him to tell his tale, and I'm going to get him to talk a little about this, where we keep seeing documentation. I mean, it's a bit of a generalization in the dev updates, I feel, but Cyrus, I'm going to really pick his brain to give a ton of context of what actually is happening in the background. So everyone after they listen to this interview, and it hopefully goes the way I plan, you'll feel a lot of these updates will make a ton more sense. So
yeah,
cool.
And just wondering, has an interview ever gone as planned?
No, but that's always my fault, because I send everyone a bunch of questions, and as soon as I ask the first question, they say something that I find interesting, and I just go off on a tangent. And TJ's is a great example where all of a sudden I start talking not about CPS, we're talking about how we're luring communities across the Icon and etc.
Is that a state of enthusiasm or a state of panic, Fez?
No, enthusiasm. I just forget lights, cameras, I've got a schedule to stick to, and I'm like, I want to know about this, let's talk. It was like me, David, at Korea Blockchain Week. It didn't matter. You turn around, I was just talking to someone. I would just turn around, just start saying crypto, blockchain. People look at me, and then I'd start talking. My people.
yeah, it did feel like that. So
yeah. Should we talk ice and snow next, or ice and snow? Yeah. Okay. Cool. So at the same time, as if coincidentally, Ice and Snow they released their dev update. Of course, everyone's just riding high that we've won the crowd loan. So, but this is did you want to talk through any standout call outs?
Just the timeline for Snow, as I understand, the Parachain slot has been won. Mm-hmm. It will be onboarded in about 10 days, I think, maybe 11, 12 days into the Kusama ecosystem.
Is this somewhere? Oh yeah, here? Wait. Is it in there?
So no, yeah, you can actually find this on the Kusama subscan.
Yep.
The auction was auction 51. At a certain block it starts, at a certain blockchain block it ends.
Yep.
And then when you win a certain auction, you also have an onboarding time. And what really happens is you've already uploaded, so to speak, the entire Snow network to the blockchain, mm-hmm. and on that date Kusama kind of reels it in because you've won the Parachain slot. So then it gets onboarded. That doesn't mean that everything is perfectly working and up and running. So the team is going to be on that before and after, running tests, checking if transactions are actually working, if they can communicate with the way it's intended to on Kusama. And there's additional bridges to other parachains that need to be built and set up. That's still stuff that you can only start doing after you've been onboarded. So there's weeks of work before us, the crowd, can actually hop on that blockchain and see what kind of dApps are launching and what kind of functionalities are available. So yeah, it's like it's in scaffolding still, but yeah, the bare bones Snow network was always finished, able to run and uploaded to Kusama, and now it's kind of being connected to all these spots, and that happens in the next 4 or 5 weeks, I would say. And once that is all done and ready to go, that's when they can kind of press the trigger on all these rewards and airdrops and crowd loans and actually release the token, and all that kicks in. So that'll be a while, and it's well explained in the dev update. So that's kind of what I wanted to call out on the Ice and Snow side of things.
Cool. Yeah. So it's good, David. I'm glad you gave a bit of insight in there. While the exact steps haven't been covered in the dev update, through deep diving into these ecosystems, it's a good example and example of timeline that is to come. Because ultimately, you have to remember, the crowd loan was done via various options. Okay, so while some of it's all on chain, but if you use Bifrost, for example, that is on another parachain. So the team themselves, once the crowd loan and they're getting ready to the chain to deploy, they're verifying all that crowd loan data from the different partners and comparing the airdrop snapshots again with Icon5, Balance, all those teams. So there's a period there before the chain launches where they get all that ready. Even though they've done it in the past, now they've got the new crowd loan data and they need to verify that as well. And all that will happen at the same time while we get ready, hopefully. The second there's a date from when you win the slot where the chain actually gets deployed through the system of I'm not saying the right words here, but there's a small period of time that the team have to wait, and as when the chain launches, obviously the team are going to run some tests, etc., to make sure everything's running before then people get their distributions from the crowd loan and the airdrop, and hopefully there'll be a few little sneaky surprises with liquidity incentivizations and things like that, so we don't just see people run and dump their tokens. Oh god, please don't. Each to their own, not financial advice, but yeah, just speaking my mind. Cool.
It's not advice. It's never advice.
No, never. I don't even know what advice is.
What are we even on about? Are we?
Blockchain. Okay,
go on. Yeah, balanced.
Great. Look, I feel we are talking similar updates have been coming through for the roadmap, because we know the Java migration and a few other things, but the biggest call outs for me this time is it is live. Multiple collateral types is live. It's basically, they've even called out that it's in the back end. It would need to get tested based on what collateral gets voted in. And yeah, you can see some of the screenshots. They're looking for people to go and put some proposals on what collateral type you want to see added. Now, if you're wondering what the hell do they mean by collateral type, very quickly, ICX to mint bnUSD. So when you talk collateral, you're saying what else apart from ICX can be used. Now, if you're a diehard iconist like me and David, you'd be like, but no, don't. I just want ICX to be able to mint bnUSD. That way more ICX is getting sucked up. This is something similar that happened in the MakerDAO days. I remember feeling very strongly about DAI and only using ETH. But overall, no, it can never work that way. The more collateral types we get in there, the more stability the asset has, even though initially, say, if you're thinking crypto assets, it's quite volatile and it's always volatile together. But overall, it's actually a good thing. And it's a good thing for two reasons. Is one, the collateral helps with stability. ETH has a much bigger market cap, so obviously in the event of bnUSD just exploding in demand, it can scale if it needs to. And finally, obviously, where do you think these assets are coming from, people? Like, especially if we use cross-chain assets, they're coming via, fingers crossed, I don't want to see any I assets. I'm done with I. Although I do like Orbit Bridge. Thank you for everything you've done for Icon. I want to see Icon Bridge kind of, pulling in, because once those assets are moving back and forth and they have good reason to, and you don't even need incentive right now. If you can take your ETH and borrow instead, like if you had an ETH stash and you're comfortable using bridges and you believe in the security, etc., and you had 10 ETH, you could move it across, mint a ton of bnUSD at just a 1% one-time fee. Keep the loan running for 5 years and live large. No, make other investments, obviously, not financial advice. But you see where I'm getting at. Now it's coming through the bridge. Those fees are getting aggregated. ICX is getting used. ICX is getting burnt. You know the whole loop. I don't need to say it over and over, but this is where our value add comes in. So fingers crossed. David?
Yeah.
Your thoughts?
No, I love it, and I agree. And I think stability should be the core aspect of a stable coin. And if it's stable, then you can move forward with, increasing adoption, advertising it left and right. But it's a very good move. Talked about a lot. It's a DAO. Balanced is a DAO. So stuff has to get voted in. But then we've seen with Balanced, when votes go up, 95% of all the users come crawling out of the woodworks and put up their vote. So I think it's a really good exercise in Daoism.
Yeah.
And Balance does really well with that. They do get the votes.
Very, very true. And what was the other? I had this other point. It'll come to me. But the next other thing that was really good is the community token list. Now, context. So maybe they've explained it well. It's quite simple. We're now seeing, your validators. You're seeing teams build. You're seeing validators get smart about how to acquire votes. They're building projects. They're issuing tokens. They're building unique tokenomics. So we're starting to see what happened in the Uniswap days, where you have a platform that you can list a token. So people are just listing nonsense tokens, and then, because obviously there was a large user base, people were losing all their money because they would just ape into these tokens, and these tokens were scams. So what did Uniswap do? They implemented a system where there was a curated list that was, approved, and you could go in and say, yes, I want to see all the tokens in this list, even though they're not officially listed, because, you can add the contract details, etc., etc. So these lists came about, and you can accept it, and then all of a sudden it'll show you all these extra tokens that have kind of, they're safe because it's been verified by this list. And this is what this community token list is. Essentially, I believe it should work in this way, where if someone actually wants to add something, they would go to GitHub, add it into the list, and it would get approved by someone. So they can't just go to GitHub and add it and then, scam. No, it would get reviewed and approved, but at least it has a quicker turnaround period, because there would be quite a few different parties who are trusted members who would be able to approve what goes into the community list. So I liked seeing this. This is great. So when new projects launch, boom, they're in there. Yeah. Now there was another.
It's point. It's a quick way to get your tokens in your list.
Yeah,
as well. So I've tried it already, and in one go, instead of going after all these individual contract addresses, like running through Discords to find them, it's just it's one or two clicks and they're all there.
Yeah, love it. I haven't tried it yet, but I will. And I remember now the earlier point. I've had quite a rant with Balance, a good one. But one thing with the multi-collateral types, what I hope, David, I've spoken to Scott, and I totally get it, where we've seen DAI pivot and kind of put USDC, because DAI, even with multi-collateral assets, couldn't stay stable because they fluctuated too much. So the one way they stabilized it was they put you were able to mint 1-per-1 with the stablecoin USDC. But obviously that has its own challenges, with Circle, they can freeze, etc. So there's the other angle of decentralization. So it depends what you're going for here, right? In this case, I hope we still use crypto assets in terms like these decentralized assets, and I get it still is subject to volatility, but I like the implementation of the stability pool. I like that. I hope, and I'm not a genius here, but I really hope that can be used more to stabilize, and which is currently being used. And if you weren't aware, the stability pool is the USDC, USDS, and bnUSD, where it can you can arb between if the peg breaks. So rather than a collateral type, I actually like it being on that side of things, because it enables anyone and everyone to arb quite quickly and keep the peg stable. And we keep using these decentralized assets. Now, just on that note, I know, and I had conversations with Scott, there is risk there just having, this decentralized assets. But Who knows? Maybe we have better luck.
Yeah. Well, we talk about shit coins on Uniswap. Do you think there's also shit stable coins?
Oh yeah. What do you mean? Have you heard of
like, I don't know, Tesla Floki dollar?
Dude, have you heard of UST?
Yeah. I think I have.
I joke, but yes. Oh, that hurts my heart. Yeah.
The Tesla Floki dollar is a US dollar stable coin backed by Teslas, and when it floats off peg, they start burning Teslas.
Damn. Well, don't say that. I like the car.
This is my pitch.
Okay. Yep. Well, you know what? Let's create the token and worry about the rest later. Good
okay,
time.
we got to move.
We've got to move. Yep. Okay. Then the next thing, as you know, the monthly report. So, we've slowed down, not from our heydays, but it's coming. Don't worry. I love this. I love the transparency of it. You can clearly see everything's set up. We just need to start getting new blood in, and we will. We're getting there. Next up, we talked about ice and snow. Okay, let's keep moving. The news around the ecosystem. Invictus. That's all you get, Jack. That's all you get. He loves it. What is okay? So we know they're launching a node. Actually, maybe this. What have I done here? Here. Okay, so let me just make this bigger. Sorry, everyone. A node. So they've launched their node. They're using their node to distribute the tokens, including you got some tokens through the packs. You heard Brandon talk about it on the show just the other week as well. So the time has arrived. David, are you across this, or shall we just read it?
I haven't read the entire thing, but what I know from your interview with Brandon is that you know how you can vote in the Icon ecosystem. If you decide to vote for the Inanis Invictus node, you do get rewarded for that. The node receives ICX rewards from inflation, and that kind of gets divided into a liquidity pool, into voters, and there's percentages here kind of outlining the whole scheme there. Yep.
So, and this is where, look, 40% of all node rewards are used to purchase a void from Balance. So again, this is cool. And from what I understand, they've gone down that protocol-owned liquidity model adaptation. Now, protocol-owned liquidity has this, bonds concept, but I feel since FRÆMD and we see more protocols that concept is evolving, and an Icon is evolving in a very unique way thanks to the way our validator rewards work. So it's cool to see. But 40% there, 4% of all revenue generated from the asset packs and secondary sales will also be distributed to node delegators and sponsor bonders and in a pro rata basis. And then what's this? 8% of all void revenue generated from bonus features such as bonus pack purchases are distributed again to the same parties. And 4% of all node rewards are distributed directly to node delegators and sponsored bonders. Okay, so you can see it's a node that's giving back, but it's not just reward sharing. They're building an actual product as well and using it. I love it. David, you know how I feel. I feel so passionately about this. I have a lot of love and respect for teams doing stuff like this, because this is just kind of using the model and making it work to your advantage.
Reward flows and distribution mechanics. That's what you love.
Yes, I do, don't I? I keep sending David all these charts, but never explaining anything to him.
I heard you have a room in your house that is just on the walls. It's like charts and lines and percentages.
Yes, with strings, and we'll get this reward there. Yes. Anyway, yeah, look, in Invictus, this is looking good. Love the way. Definitely follow if you aren't, and if you want to earn the token and ramp up, you know what to do. Delegate to the node. Next up, Craft Launchpad is live. It's here, people. It is meant to be. Click of a button. You can deploy your own page collection. You got a collection, say 10,000 series. You're not a web dev. You're not you don't have that skill set, but you're a killer artist, you can come to craft, you can use this Launchpad. It'll get featured in the Launchpad section. You'll have your own web page so that you can give people a direct link to your web page where they see your collection and can go and purchase it. But I actually was on a call with Lucas yesterday, David, and he was giving me a run through because I want to create a tutorial around it. Unfortunately, I won't be able to. I have some leave planned, so I'll come back and then finish it off. But I got the rundown, and it's close to being perfect, David, if I'm being honest. Even Lucas said, it's not that one click, but this is the first iteration of it. And there are a few clicks and a few configs, but definitely doable. Like I saw it, I know if I followed the instructions I'd be able to see it through, and I love the concept of it because his ultimate, he finished off, he goes, the goal here is to reach a different audience, and we want to make it the goal is to get to one click and it's done, and we can then market it to a huge audience and chase after the Ethereum audience and the creators of NFT related products. So I thought this was cool. I love the demo he showed me. I will create content around it so everyone can see how it's done. But I already love the possibilities of it. David, do you want to launch a collection?
I do, when I see how easy it has become. And I think it's a great value add to the craft network itself. Like, this is, on the one side, you need people purchasing NFTs. You need enthusiasts to come in and get involved. And on the other side, you need supply. And now you're just enabling everyone with an idea to actually turn that into a reality on the Icon blockchain. So great value add, and good that they've launched it, because it just means it's out there now and they can move on, because the entire craft project is so large and they're aiming for interoperability with NFTs. Like their plans and dreams are massive. So it's exciting every time they deliver, because then that they're moving on to the next thing on the checklist. So always happy to see a craft update like this.
Totally. And you know what, he did drop some alpha on the call with me. He mentioned cross-chain. He mentioned how this connects to it. I'm staying calm. I don't want to I believe it all. I know I can see the vision, but I also want to stay in the step where at the one-click launch for Iconist, but I can't wait. The way it was envisioned, hopefully it's going to become like this, where it's one-click launch. The user doesn't even know it's on Icon or whatever. It's just happening in the back. It's all Icon, baby. But in the front,
you browse craft for an afternoon, and you accidentally mint 3 or 4 collections because you've clicked the button. That's how easy it's going to be.
Accident, I meant the person, it could be marketed like, for example, just as a product. One-click NFT Collection's got, no one knows about craft or anything. They just create their website. They have a USD implementation, let's say. And Lucas didn't tell me this, but I've kind of really clutching at straws here and creating my own image. So they launched a collection. It's one click. They've done it. They've integrated USD. People are going and buying their art and doing all this, but in the background, it's all boom, boom, boom happening on Icon. So,
hey, and that's Web 2.5, isn't it? Abstracting away.
Baby. Forget 3. 3 is dead to me. It's all about 2.5.
We're going to go granular. We're going to go more and more decimals behind.
2.5.12V. Yeah, baby.
That's it. That's the vision. Okay.
Okay, next up, Hana. Oh, I know you love this, David. Go.
I do, because the Hana Wallet is the prime wallet in the Icon ecosystem. And to me, this is one of the most important fundamentals of the Icon blockchain. It's the access point for new users. It's the big, shiny, light purple, lilac door that they enter through before they can actually go and discover all the dApps and possibilities that Icon has on offer. So I'm a big proponent of getting Hana pushed forward, looking good and functional, amazing UI, UX, because it has this unique aspect to it. Because Icon is the interoperability blockchain looking to connect all these other blockchains through BTP, Hana gets to sit there in the middle, ride all these connections, and just make managing your assets available in their product. So now what's happened is, this is what they're working towards. They've just been rebranded, which I know is a lot of work, and this is what we're looking at right now. So this is the new look and feel of the Hana Wallet. There is a beta version for the desktop wallets, and there's an app for both Chrome, for Android and Apple that will get released within the next, I don't know if it's weeks. I would expect weeks, to be honest.
So, and on that, like, one thing to keep in mind, like, I've seen a few comments, this comes up a lot, and like My Icon Wallet, it's made by the same team. Like, you think of My Icon Wallet will basically get rebranded to Hana.
Yeah.
It's just
and that bothers
version.
me, Fez. That annoys the hell out of me.
David
that
RANT,
we have we have the same wallet, doing the same thing by the same builders, but we give it a different name on desktop as opposed to on mobile, where we're actually looking. Every website these days that you find is responsive. If you open it on a laptop or if you open it on your phone, it's the same website scaling up and down. I don't launch a website, David's website for desktop.com, and then launch another website, David's website for mobile.com. I don't give them different names just because they're on different devices.
No, you don't.
So I never. So the fact that we're naming a desktop application and the mobile application that are essentially doing the exact same thing, you're managing the same wallets on the blockchain, and we're giving them different names. That's just a nightmare for if you want to market something, or if you want to get consumers or users to understand what's happening. That big purple shiny door into the Icon ecosystem now has confusing names. People don't even know what to type into Google to get there. So the fact that everything across the board on all devices is now just going to be called Hana, a 4-letter name, 2 syllables, Hana, rebranded to look spiffy. I'm happy. This is what we need.
Love it. And you know, I'm gonna tell everyone listening, like, I get to see David. I'm one of the few privileged, and I just saw him so passionately waving and really drilling home this fact, because I know just how passionate he is about this. Awesome. Look, Aussie team, Hana.
Yeah. I knew, not because of hearing accents or anything, but I actually spoke to MJ in Discord. I was asking questions about Hana, and I wasn't ranting or anything. But when we discussed time zones, Australian time zone is the one that we're. So I know that's me in the morning and you guys in the evening.
Yeah. And so speaking of Aussie domination, next Aussie team, FRÂMD. Oof, we haven't given an update. So we're over the 30-minute mark. We're close to 40. Damn it, we failed again, David. But next week. So let's try to keep this quick. I don't want to skim through too quickly, though. Again, I was telling David just before we started recording, I love what FRÂMD are doing with these the monthly updates. Yes, I realize FRÂMD is a massive project as well, building and doing a few things, but given they're running a node and things like that, I actually really loved how they're giving the distribution of rewards and what's transpiring in their monthly update. What more level, apart from looking at the blockchain and actually seeing what's transpiring with the rewards, but it's great to see that they're taking the time and effort to really break down where everything's going, and how much their royalties and things are coming through. I really love this. Overall, so if you didn't know, if you haven't checked it out, they've mentioned that it's been a bit of a slower month, and that's fair enough because they killed it the month before and delivered a ton of stuff. So, you can't just keep smashing through. They're slowed down a little bit this month. However, they're still revamped their website. They've got made a ton of progress on their trading card game. And I've been hearing about this trading card game in the back channels as well. And I know every time I talk to Andrew, he's so excited. Every time a new bit of art comes through, he sends it in a group chat going, guys, check it out. And I can just imagine him, drooling. Oh yes. So I'm really excited to see when this comes to fruition. But it is definitely a passion project of theirs, so it'll be good when it's released.
Yeah.
Partnerships. Yes, they announced with Alter. They've got hats coming out. They did a Project Nebula, we know that, and they've given a great overview of what is to be expected for the month of September, which is a ton of stuff. Oh, and they're attending the Aussie Crypto Convention. Can you believe this, David? Can you believe it? I go all the way to Korea, but I'm not going in my own backyard to the crypto convention.
Is it literally in your backyard?
No. It's still probably the same flight to get to Korea. Given how big, no. It's like a 4-hour flight to get there from where I am. However, I am, as mentioned, going on holidays on and taking a bit of a break. So, and this happens to fall. Literally everything is falling during my holiday period, but need a break, David. There's only so many rants I can go on.
You've earned a break. Take it.
Thank you. Cool. Anything on the frame front?
No, nothing. I've seen the traded card game art as well pop by in Discord, I believe. Yeah, it looks impressive. Yeah. So I'm also excited for that to drop. And the FRÂMD, of course, it's a massive, large project. They entered their vision with the Yeti Strong Club NFT project. So people might have a hard time distinguishing what's what, but the Yeti Strong Club project is a NFT project, and FRÂMD is the overarching like ecosystem of NFTs on Icon, which they're trying to launch. So that website overview that you just showed, once they have that finished, that'll help people understand better what's doing what.
It looks sleek. Very good.
Yeah, I like that.
Cool. Okay. 2 more things. Gangstabet, they are excited. They're always excited, but this time they're even more excited. Although, David, I haven't put my crown in the bank. I can't believe I've wasted all this time. But this is not what this is. They're excited to announce that land ownership certificates, which is a minting, will be live this Thursday at 11:59 p.m. EST. Oh God, it's Thursday for me now. But is this future Thursday or past? Time zones, I hate it. Anyway, EST 11:59 p.m. is when it goes live. And I think, so you'll be able to mint land, and you'll be able to actually use the crown token to mint land, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah. To mint land in the Emerald City, which is their Gangstaverse, their metaverse full of gangsters, civilians, buildings, which we've only seen like screenshots of little elements and whatnot. We've been teased that it's great. I'm dead curious to find out what it looks like, what are the possibilities. But in terms of like gaming, all we've had up till now on Icon blockchain, or all that I've really gotten into, is the Project Nebula floating around, in my spaceship. And this is probably the second time that I'll be venturing into a new universe or world. So the land certificate mint doesn't mean that we get to go in. It just means that you can mint a land certificate by using Crown token, and then you have a land certificate.
That's right.
And then whenever it's ready,
redeemable in the game soon.
Soon. Yeah. So it's a lot of soons, but it is moving along.
Ooh, I feel a rant.
No, I'm happy with this one. I think Gangstabet is one of those projects that can really push forward the Icon brand as well.
Totally.
With what they're doing. Yeah.
And I'm not even giving it like, I'm joking, but everyone knows I'm super passionate about the project. I actually, there was, I think Poopster, he put out a tweet like he really appreciates the level of transparency, and I couldn't agree more. Like, they're building, it went from an NFT collection and they've expanded into this big Metaverse game, and right through the process, even when they needed more money from CPS, they were transparent and thing. And now every stage of it, they keep updating and what's happening and giving us tidbits and showing us how things are progressing. So, you know what? Yes, it's taking a while, but when it's launched, remember, if you listen to the TJ episode, I went on a mini rant around my recent theory around expanding the blockchain ecosystems or particular chains, like Icon, for example. And I don't know how I feel about the ongoing people saying taking money from CPS and deploying on another chain and trying to unite communities. I think NFTs can do that with the games. If you're building a game and building a bigger piece, I don't know how I feel personally after I've been giving it a lot of thought, because when I reflect, like I gave this, listen to the podcast, I gave an explanation and TJ countered with it and we went back and forth. But overall, the point I'm getting to is that killer app. And as David said, when this completes, if they nail it and it is engaging, like not just 2 seconds engaging, like I can keep doing things in the Metaverse of Gangstabet and there's a ton of stuff going on. This could be our killer app that we kind of, people will from the outside, rather than they'll actually go, hey, wait, is there yield to earn? Is there this to do? Can we do this NFT? Oh, yeah, let's exactly what happened with DeFi Kingdoms. Like, this could be it. Not financial advice. I don't know, but I can see that they have a big team. They're working. They have big goals, and they're trying to achieve big things. So,
yeah, I get what you're saying, and I think so. Our last talking about killer apps, like our last news item in your tabs. See, I thought this was going to be the last killer app.
What do you mean? A meme coin is the killer app any chain needs. Okay, like this is it.
I mean, it's original. It's like the new. It's iDoge. It is the one NFT project that I've ever been asked advice for, and my advice, as shown on the webpage, is to not buy more than one, because this is a meme. And what's new? The pre-sale is live, so you can actually go and get your you can mint your iDoge. Currently you have to get whitelisted in the Discord, but I feel like they're very generous with the whitelists, and you mint one for 69 ICX. You get this Doge NFT, which it gets named, it gets mojo, and it starts earning you the iDoge token. So that's kind of what's going on here. And I minted one. I posted it as well. And these names crack me up. Like, mine is pretty cool. It doesn't have the highest mojo out there. I think it has a top hat as well. And now I have a little dashboard where I can see the amount of iDoge that I'm accumulating every day. I think I get about 112 a day, which I can then claim and, I don't know, run around with.
You get an iDoge. Yeah.
But the pre-sale is live, so, and yeah, I would my advice is my advice is to not buy too many.
Yes, and look, full disclosure, we are advisors, but even that itself is a meme. You know, it's a meme project. But you know, while people may be thinking, oh, this Fez and David, why do they keep shilling this? And we're not. We're just having a bit of fun with it. It's a meme. What I do appreciate about this was the person behind it, and we've had him on the podcast, Paul. And if you know, Paul's done a little bit of work on different pieces, okay, and he just, as a joke and to create a bit of entertainment, released the iDoge token and just started rewarding it to people. He helped Iron Icon gain 15 followers one day when he just threw out saying it's a meme token. Very appreciative. But from there, he's taken that concept, and on his own back, in his own time, he's then created this NFT collection. Yes, the NFT sales are going to go to him, obviously, but he didn't have to. Like, he could have just ended the iDoge, you know, token supply experiment there. He went and did this, but part of this, he's feeding some of those sales, the percentage of those sales back to the CPS Treasury, which he has not taken money for this project, FYI. Yes, he's been funded for another project that he'll deliver on Snow, but I appreciate that and I respect that. And what I love is this is his Tinker project. So yes, it started with a token, but now that token's intertwined into an NFT collection that if you buy more of it compounds and gives you rewards. Who knows where it's going to go next while he's tinkering? There may be, for example, as an advisor. Hey, as an advisor, we could totally dish meme alpha, can't we? Like, it's a meme.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so who's to say soon he doesn't create a contract where, let's just say you send your iDoge and it burns and gives you something else. I don't know what. It could be a different version of iDoge with a lower supply and a value. I don't know. The possibilities. What will he come up with next?
Clueless.
We better tell Paul. He better get to work and deliver on what we promised.
But you can't make him the unsung hero of the week because we made Arosh the unsung hero of the week.
No, yes, no, okay. This is, no, yes. Arosh is the unsung hero of the year. I said the year. You went the week. I'm
well,
just
the
talking.
week gives it. It's a weekly podcast, Fez.
Oh, okay. Yes, let's make it a week. He's the unsigned Paul. I again, because we've been talking about iDoge. I kind of wanted to add context and why me and David are passionate in the background about it, because we appreciate the effort and appreciate that it is fun. That's all. Enough. So maybe next week, let's see if he delivers a killer new feature, we can make him, honorary weekly. And 1 week I want to reserve for Jack for toying with my emotions every week on Twitter, but we'll get there. That's
I think we got there.
Huh?
Yeah. We got there. I said we got there. We got there.
We did it. 49 minutes in. We shaved a solid 10 minutes off. Oh, well, we may have. So that's the news for the week. I know we probably missed some stuff, but we're getting around to it. Just FYI, there'll be one more episode, and I don't know, for the next 2 weeks, it'll be touch and go. Just warning everyone. I had planned a ton of content. Unfortunately, some of the interviews fell through, so they won't come on during the week. But if I can find time in traveling and have Wi-Fi, I will hound David so that we can deliver the weekly news. But overall, love it. Thank you everyone for all your support, and like, share, subscribe. Let's do it.
That's it. Thank you.
Take care, everyone. Bye.